So first things first, let's download a package that is in the description. This will be the main menu. It's already pre-set up for a couple of reasons, which I will explain in a bit. So here we are in the scene. So we've imported the package, and that gives us this folder with this scene. So pretty straightforward. It's it's a UI scene. So I'm going to hit play and just walk you through it, and then I'm going to explain what we did here. So first of all, I want to explain why I made this into a package. It's simply because UI stuff, it's not terribly interesting. Most likely you'll have a different view of how you want it to look anyway. But it takes a lot of time. It's just time consuming. It's not difficult, it's just time consuming. And I just didn't want to spend, a proper 2 hours going through all of this. So I'll just go through what I've added here. Some of this stuff is custom and is definitely a lot more difficult. Like for example, all of these settings. So we've got a graphics manager script that ties to all of these UI elements. I did it like this because I didn't want you to have to manually adjust literally every drop down or anything like that. It didn't want that. So it's it's set up like this. So this controls everything. The UI elements themselves don't actually do anything at all, which is a good thing. Obviously, that's kind of the point. Make it easier to use. We've got some post-process control here as well. You can go into the script and add more if you want. I personally thought this was enough, but once you have a look at the script, which is this one, you'll see how you can add the others as well. I kept it separated a bit in the script so you can easily add the rest. So yeah, we've got that there as well. Now obviously when it comes to that volume, this needs to be used, and yes, you would need to use the same volume in your other scenes as well, otherwise this control doesn't do anything. Now generally having just one general post-process volume is a normal thing anyway, but just to keep that in mind, we're adjusting this one, so it always needs to be this one you use as the main one. Resolution, refresh rate work in build mode. You can try that out now by just building this and having a look at it. They don't work in the editor, but they work in build mode. At least they get the proper list of what is available. Don't have a gaming monitor, so 60 Hz is all I've got. So yeah, we've got these options. So refresh rate, resolution, window mode. All of them just work in build. We've got reset all, and reset all basically resets it all to certain settings. Now these might not be the settings you actually like. You might want to set up something else as the defaults, and you do that here in the script as well. Near the it says it's set right, but basically at the end when you have a reset toggle, and there you can just adjust all of the default values for reset. Low game opens up this, and I'm definitely going to go over this because there's actually quite a bit of custom work in here. And new game will open this, and here we'll have the default two body options, and then we go to the customization. So when it comes to load game, now this is definitely the biggest thing. So we'll be setting up a second scene here. That's quite important. So we need to set up our second scene, which is our world. So 0 to scene. Perfect. We'll need to test that. So for now, just for now, we're going to go to menu, and we're going to go to button new. And we're going to remove this. So we'll add it later, but we're going to remove this, and we're going to do load scene. Now for some reason I sometimes have an issue with just dragging in the scene file like this. It just doesn't always work. It will say added to the build settings, it's added to the build settings and it still won't work. Then if I rechange it while in play mode, it will work. I don't know, it's a bit weird. However, if we just do scene name like in Game Creator 1, it always works. So yeah, a bit confusing. Don't really have an explanation for it either. So cool. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to load that scene. Now let's go to that scene. Yeah, save. Perfect. So here we have our scene and there's nothing here, and what we place now is literally temporary, just to show you how we're going to set up this whole save system. So we can keep it here because we'll be using this scene at some point, just not yet. So let's set this all to 0, 100, just so we have some space. There we go. Let's add a character. Let's add a camera shot. There we go. Now the camera shot, I'm going to do third person. Again, don't pay attention to any of the settings. It will look weird. It's not gonna look good. It doesn't matter. This is literally just to test what we're doing here. Cool. So got those. Then I'm going to add a red cube, and I'm fully aware it's not actually red. So let's we'll change that, and let's put it here. Got some basic materials, I think, from the examples. So here, if you don't have a red material, right click, create material, and just change the color to red, name it to whatever you want and drag it on. That's it. But yeah, we already have a basic red material, so I don't need an additional one. Cool. Then so we've got this one. Perfect. Then I'm going to add another one. We'll call this platform. There we go. Oh, and it's here. That's cool. And this one we're going to set the trigger to the collider to a trigger. So it's not actually physical, but we need to have it there, and I'll explain in a bit. So the cube, we need a rigid body. So rigid body, let's give it a mass of 5, so it at least has some friction. And then we're going to add the remember component. If you haven't used this yet, it's also in the Game Creator examples for save loads. So Game Creator 1 had this as well, but it was something that most people didn't realize it had, and it was a bit hidden away as well, I'll be fair, and not promoted that much. So we have the option here, remember to save position, rotation, and scale. You can remove that if you don't want those things to be remembered, actually. And you can add other things to it as well. So pretty cool. We only need these. It's just to demonstrate the save function. We only need this. And for the player, we don't need to do anything. Now I'm going to add a instruction in here, some actions. Let me make sure. Okay, focused. So we've got some actions. So in here we're going to do date, and we're going to do set date time custom. So this is not the one I've added to the hub. This is a custom one, and basically what we're doing is we're saving date and time to our player preferences. And the reason we're doing that is simply because if we save it in a variable, which you can do as well, didn't remove that option, so you can still just save it in a variable. However, if we save it in a variable, if we want to display that value from the variable in the main menu, it means we already have to load a save in the menu. Yes, you can do that. Yes, it creates tons of complications, which is why I chose to go a different way. Yeah, basically we can have the current date and time saved in our player preferences is what this custom instruction does. So we've got 3 slots set up. You can just add more I think 3 slots is enough, but you know, you can just add more. So we've got 0, 1, and 2. If you go over this without changing the script, it's not going to cause any issues. The script knows that you can't do more than that, so don't worry, nothing can go wrong here. So 0, 1, and 2. I'm just going to use 1 just to make things easier, and I'm going to do a save game, and it's going to be 1 as well. That's it. Maybe by the time of the recording I'll have increased the amount of slots there will be, so you know, if that's the case, I'm sure it will appear in the screen. So we've got save current date and time, we've got save game in slot 1, and I'm going to call this save game 1. The reason I do this as well, because I want to demonstrate how this works for multiple save slots, how the date and time works. So we're going to do 2 here, and we're going to do 2 here. Perfect. And we'll be moving this cube in different positions for each save slot, so we can actually see it in action. Now the next thing we need to do as well is we need to make sure this is added to the build settings. So build settings. This is my test scene, so I'm going to remove that. We don't need that anymore, and we're going to add our current open scene. Yes, you need to do that with the other main scene as well, so just open the scene, add open scenes, and that's it. I unticked the sample scene because I don't need it there. Removing it just keeps re-adding it, so you know, I just unticked it. Awesome. So that's it. You don't need to assign anything here, by the way. This is only if you also want to store the date and time in a variable, if for some reason you want to use that. So I just left the option there. That's it. So we've got slot 1, slot 1, slot 2, slot 2. Pretty straightforward. Then let's add one final instruction. That's simply load menu, and it does exactly what we think. And yeah, it's going to load the menu. Not original. Anyway, so there we go. Perfect, all good. And yeah, we're pretty much done. I don't think we need to add something else. I think that was pretty much it. This was set to a trigger. Yeah, okay, we're good. So I'm going to open up the save, going to open up our main menu here and press play. Perfect. If we press load game, as you can see, there are no save files. Now the reason there you see nothing there is simply because when we press the button load, it's going to load these conditions. So I've set it up for 3 save slots. If you want to add more, just add more. That's it. So it will open up the load game panel, and then inside of these panels we have these conditions. So if there is a save in slot 1, it will activate the UI element for slot 1, and it's going to convert the value that we save in our player preferences with that custom date time action into this TextMesh Pro element, and that's it. It does the same for slot 2 and slot 3. Like I mentioned, this by the time of the recording I only added 3 slots. I might increase it before actually publishing this video, so you can change it to a different value. So yeah, so it's going to load these values, meaning that if there are no save files, there's nothing to display because it won't display it. Simple condition saying it will only activate it, so display it, if there is an actual save file there. So that's why right now we're not seeing anything. So we're going to press new game. We adjusted that it goes to this scene. No, camera's not perfect, etc. I know. And then here, you know, that block flies away. And perfect. So we're going to do save here. So we're going to save date and time, and we're saving the game. Then we're going to go back to our main menu, and then when we go to load game, suddenly we have you know, current timestamp, current date. Your formatting might be different. It does it based on your local machine's time. So if you have a different formatting in your country or wherever, it will appear differently. And then we've got the time. Then when we press load game, we're back in the scene and the cube is all the way over there. Now I'm going to run over, and yeah, 5 mass really is not enough, is it? That really flew away. Perfect. And I want it to be closer. Actually, on the right side it's not closer at all, but on the right side is perfect. There we go, just so we show it's in a different space. And we're going to save it here. Now I'm going to load the game again. So we saved it in a different slot, just to be sure. I'm going to load again. And let's wait. Let's save again, because I actually see it's a different minute now. Perfect. So going to open up here, and then we have 2 different save slots. Now what I want to do is I want to open the first one, and as you can see, cube is there. Then I want to open the second one, and the cube is there. So yeah, it all works, and that's pretty much it. Now if I'm going to save the game again on the first slot, so with the first timestamp, then we're going to do load menu, and as you can see, the timestamp has changed to the current one. So perfect. And that's basically how it works. So it adds a timestamp, so we always know what the latest game is, which I think is pretty good. A lot of games do that, so yeah, pretty nice. It would be nice to demonstrate one last thing as well, just so we actually see the settings take effect. So I'm going to copy over our global volume here. Going to go to, there we go, to our scene. Let's open up our main menu again. Yeah, save changes. Hit play. Yeah, cool. So we're going to load our save. That's fine. And as you can see, you know, there's no how do you call it, visual effects here. So we're going to go to where do you have it? There we go. So we're going to check these values. So we're going to hit play mode. Perfect. I'm going to add a simple game creator. Actually, might need to check before I even do all of that. In scene 2, is post-processing is not turned on. Let's actually turn it on. There we go. So post-processing is turned on. Normally if I hit play mode now, it should display the post-processing. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. I'm mostly used to using HDRP, and in HDRP it's just turned on by default. There's no toggle, so apologies. So let's hit play in our main menu. And yeah, all good. We're going to do a load game. Then we have all of this now, and it's exaggerated on purpose, so we'll be tweaking that once we actually are setting up our scenes. It's exaggerated on purpose just to make sure it's really noticeable. All of these values are turned on. Now let's load up our menu here. We're going to go to options, and we're going to turn all of this off. Perfect. Then we're going to go to back, load game, and we're going to load the game. And it's all off. Vignetting is, I don't even know why I added that, but yeah, everything, all of the blurriness and the bloom and all of it is turned off. Now the reason that it has no impact on the saves is because just like you know, actual game creator save games, just like our timestamps, all of these settings are saved in a different location, so it won't impact your save file. Which is perfect, of course, because you don't want the save file to be impacted by your menu settings to be impacted by the save file. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the menu setup. As you can see, it's actually quite straightforward. It's really not that difficult to use. However, definitely have a look at how I set things up. I've tried to keep it as straightforward as possible, so the least amount of possible instructions. All of these, for example, all of those drop downs and you know, things like that don't have any instructions at all. There's no actions, they actually by themselves do nothing. It's literally just a graphics manager that controls all of those settings. So there's really not that much to inspect. They're pretty much all really straightforward elements. The only real thing here is so far is that when we obviously press load game, that we run all of these conditions which check for save files. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we've got a couple of custom instructions here. So one to display the timestamp, and one to store the timestamp basically. And yeah, again, you know, just to reiterate, we're saving these in player preferences, so we don't have to load a save game in our menu. And that way, when you restart the game, you know, the timestamps will still all appear because we don't have to load a save game to display any variables. So it's a rather, you know, simple workaround to make sure we still have our timestamps available without actually first needing to load a game. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a terribly long video, but you can imagine how long this would have taken if I would have recorded you through all of these steps. It would have taken a really long time, and it's honestly, it's just, you know, it's a lot of duplication. You know, when you look at the options menu, it's just duplicating, changing text. It's just not terribly interesting to look at. And you know, this is a game creator series. It's not a series on how to do this in C#. There's plenty of videos on YouTube for that. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.